Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Battlefield 101. This episode is the first in a series of small videos I'm going to do which focus primarily on improving tank play. And this is the first one in the series, this small series I'm going to do, and we're going to look at the basics of tank play and what a driver and a gunner should be doing in order to increase their chances of success and survive in the battlefield environments while playing in tanks. So there will be future episodes that will focus on tank play, but this episode is going to focus primarily on the basics. And I'm going to start off with the very basic first rule of tank play, which focuses mainly on the gunner, and it's the first thing you should do when in a tank, when you spawn in a tank as a gunner, is not fire the 50 cal machine gun wildly while you're driving around from objective to objective trying to hit targets that are a million miles away. All it does is it light you up on the mini-map for everybody to see, helicopters, other tanks, C4 runners and rocket spammers, and it's a good way to get yourself killed very easily. I'll give you an example of this. So here we are contesting this flag on Dawnbreaker. Now you can see the gunner on that tank is firing away blindly, and if you look at the minimap you can see he's lit up. I know exactly where he is even though I don't have a visual on him because the sound is indicated on my minimap. But look at it more closely. You can also see which way the tank is facing. Now, although the turret on the main cannon turns through 360 degrees and you could conceivably looking behind him, natural instinct is to face the direction in which your tank will go forward, will drive forward. So if I'd have carried on driving in that direction, I would have been an easy target for his turret almost certainly. He would have had an easy shot on me, but by flanking around the back, by going around the side where he doesn't know I'm there yet, I can get an easy shot on his rear end, and if he is facing forward I'm probably going to get at least 2 shots into his back end before he's even turned around, giving me a pretty easy kill. The second rule of tank driver gunner play should always be to spot when you're driving from place to place while in a tank, or any ground vehicle for that matter in Battlefield. The bonus of the driver is and the gunner combo in a tank is that you have 2 sets of eyes and 2 sets of people spamming the spot button. Now you've got 2 different things that can catch you out in Battlefield 4. You've got the M15 mines, which is what these are, and you also have M2 slams, which we'll get onto in a second. And what you're looking for is those little orange blips as you're driving and spotting. Easiest to do this in first person view mode because you can direct where you're spotting via the turret, and the driver can then take them out. Now what makes Battlefield 4 just a little bit more problematic for the tank driver is the addition of M2 slams. These differ in that they can be placed vertically. As you can see, some have been placed on the side of this bus, so if I'm driving past that on the way to another objective and not spotting there, it's very easy for me to be killed. And as you can see, they don't just trigger by driving over them, they're triggered by motion sensor within a certain radius, so it's even more important that both gunner and driver are spotting to make sure they stay alive. Now the last thing I want to illustrate in this edition of Battlefield 101 is the different armor ratings of different sections of the tank. It's something that everyone ought to know by now, but just in case you don't, here's a quick rundown. Enemy tank there has put a shell into my front end, dropped my health down to 77 for a total of 33 damage. Now what happens when I turn to the side and take a shot into the side plating is I go down to 66 health, so that tank shell has done 44 damage with a shot into my side, and done a quick repair, and I will turn around to the rear and allow a shot to be placed into the back end of the tank. And there you go, down to 52 health for a total of 48 damage, so within 2 shots my tank is virtually dead. So obviously whenever you engage a tank, whether you're in a tank yourself or on foot or in another enemy LAV of some variety, it's always worthwhile trying to get a shot into that rear end of the tank to try and do the most damage. Well, that's it for this edition of Battlefield 101. We'll be focusing more on tank play in the next episode and some more tips and tricks for how the gunner and the driver should be working together to improve their chances of success and survive on the battlefield. And I will look forward to seeing you then, and see you on the next edition of Battlefield 101.